Hey guys, welcome to the next Critique the Community. Today we will be critiquing Moody images. I don't know whose idea that was.
That was Pi's.
That was Pi's idea. That's kind of weird. If you want to be part of the next critique, we are going to be critiquing long exposure photography. The longer the better. I mean, don't do like a 1 second exposure. You know, we want to see multi-second exposures, multi-minute exposures. I've been working on a video that should be released soon where I'm taking a multi-minute exposure. It turned out pretty cool. But if you want to upload your long exposure photos, click on the link in the description. Patrick, are you ready for this first shot?
I am ready.
This is the first shot. I would imagine this is the highest rated shot.
This is the highest rated
You've
image.
won a free tutorial on fstoppers.com/store. David will be reaching out to you. Are you ready, Patrick?
I am ready.
3, 2, 1.
You give us 4, I go 3. I think this is an incredible photograph. I think the problem that I have with it that doesn't put it in the 4 or 5 category is just kind of the composition. It just feels very straightforward and boring.
Yeah, maybe you're right. There's something, and maybe I'm stuck on this long exposure thing, but the movement of the clouds and the smoke, I'm really digging. And then you can see like the little explosions down the left side of the lava. It's crazy. I'm trying to think, have we ever seen lava before? I know we've been like on lava rock.
I've never seen
but I don't think
like
we've
this.
seen molten lava yet. So yeah, this is unbelievable.
I actually read the description of this image just because I wanted to see the story behind the #1 image in this critique. And apparently, and I couldn't understand what he was saying, but this is a multi-exposure, but it almost sounded like it was frames back to back. And the way he worded it, it was almost like this isn't erupting, but maybe he caught a few little things and blended them in like a timed exposure. It was
so it's fake.
It is fake. It's not one exposure. It might be that the lava was up here and then the next frame the lava was
but
down
it's real
there.
lava. It's not like he added
It's real
fake
lava. This isn't Guatemala. Apparently
cool.
This is one of the bigger eruptions. But it's one of those bumming things where like I know where he was. This was probably the best that he could work with, but I just wish maybe even from lower down, you know, if you had some kind of foreground element or something and it wasn't.
I agree. It's not the best composition, but certainly an incredible subject matter.
Yes.
Community rates at 3.77. Next up.
Image number 2.
This shot's awesome. And certainly Moody.
You think there's mood in this? What's the opposite of mood? Contentment?
Boring.
Boring?
I don't know. Are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. I mean, I'm in between a 4 and a 5 on this. I like this better than the winning shot.
Yeah, I definitely do too. It has all the elements that make it a really good photograph. It's super subdued, like the processing. Obviously, the scene is crazy, but the blacks don't seem pure black, and the whites, I mean, maybe there's like a cloud up there that's pure white, but it seems like the dynamic range hasn't been pushed to where it's, you know, taking up the entire color space, which I really like. I think it's just something different.
Yeah, you know, I don't know how much of this is funny business, as I like to call it. I would imagine a lot of this is funny business. Something doesn't look very natural about that really bright sky on the left that then gets dark along the top. I would imagine that's all done in post. But it doesn't even really feel as much like a photograph as it does like a painting or fine art or something to me. So I dig it. You know, I don't
feel like
mind.
this vignette on the bottom is a little too much?
Maybe like the bottom left and bottom right.
Yeah, it just feels like I want it to still be in the tones of like the bottom middle.
Yeah, maybe they overdid it a little bit, but super cool. And I mean, this is such a pretty location, and I don't recall seeing another photograph with this shot before.
Not this specific one, but I feel like this has got to be in Italy or France, like somewhere in that region. There's a lot of images that look like this with the rolling hills, but I love it. I think it's really cool, and it's not just so over the top like so many landscape photos are. And when I look at it, it almost feels like I'm looking at a print that's been printed on like that metallic paper or that Fuji pearl paper.
Yeah.
When you look up at the right ridge line, it almost looks like that's like a metallic toning, which is kind of cool.
They've done it in post.
They've done it in post.
All right, next up.
Community gives that one a 3.4. Now, is she in a body bag? What is this? What's going on here?
I think most body bags zip long ways, don't they?
Well, not the fashionable ones. They zip like a mummy. It goes like around.
Oh, that's like the Louis V
Yeah.
way of dying. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. I'm going 4 again.
Yeah?
I think this is an excellent photograph. You know, maybe this I would certainly say this isn't this photographer's best image, but when I go to a photographer's website, especially, you know, like a really famous, well-known photographer, if this was one of the shots on there, I think it would fit right in with other world-class images. Maybe this one itself, like, you know, is a little more forgettable. And there's going to be other ones with celebrities and, you know, more over-the-top things. But this is just so simple and so polished that I feel like it deserves a 4. Now, this kind of shows a weakness of our rating system because I've rated all 4 images, or all 3 images, a 4. But I kind of like each one of them completely differently.
Well, what I was trying to explain to Pi is I feel like it's a bell curve where the difference between a 4 and a 5 is such a small amount.
Yes.
And I never feel offended if somebody says, oh, that's a 5, but I feel like it's a 4.
Sure. Yeah.
Kind of like 1s and 2s. Like a 1 and a 2 could be very close. But as you start to say, like,
I don't know if I agree with that, but keep going.
A 2 to a 4, I feel like is a big difference. You know?
Sure.
I think what bums me out about this is my eye just keeps going to the zipper, and I keep wondering if this would look better shot with more depth of field. And also the one eye, I don't know, like it's simple, but there's not enough, you're going to kill me, but there's not enough story, or we don't know what's going on. Is this clothing, or is this supposed, I don't know what this image is supposed to
All right, Patrick, let's go
represent.
back. What's the story in the last shot, Patrick?
The story is just like this scenery and the...
Exactly. There's no story. Okay.
There's a story there.
There's not. It's just a picture of a landscape. There's no story. And there's more of a story here with the girl in the Louis V body bag.
I'd love to know what the story is. Who would publish this? Like, what is it? For XYZ Zipper Company? Like,
there you go. There you go.
What do you think's going on
YKK.
with the... YKK. What do you think's going on with the lighting here? It's like an octabox, but what is the black in the middle of the strobe?
It's like a soft lighter. It's the strobe itself in the middle of the...
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Of the umbrella, firing backwards and then lighting up the umbrella.
But does it have a light stand coming out of it?
I think in the very bottom it does. You can see a little bit of black down there. I was going to say, it's funny, you mentioned your eye keeps going to the zipper. My eye never went to the zipper. You're talking about the actual handle of the zipper.
Yeah.
And I agree, it's the brightest part. My eye keeps going to the catch light in the eye. And I usually don't mind catch lights. I like catch lights fine, but this catch light is very distracting to me for some reason. And I'm wondering if there's some way to like make it a little sharper or do something to make it look as perfect as the rest of the retouching on this shot. But I don't know. I still dig it. Got anything else to say about it?
Not really. I mean, I think compositionally it works well. I don't really know what's going on.
No story. We get it. All right. Community agrees with you. 2.9. Ouchie.
This reminds me of one of those like Thomas Kincaid paintings or something.
Yeah, it does kind of have that feeling.
And I don't really like Thomas Kincaid, but I like this better.
You like this better than a Thomas Kincaid painting?
I think so.
Wow. Thomas Kincaid is like a billionaire, so whoever took this, congratulations.
He doesn't always paint all of his paintings either.
I know. He's got like a team of people. All right. All right, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. I'm between like a 2 and a 3.
As am I.
I think this would be a killer backplate for something, but again, I need more story. I need somebody in here I need something going on here. I just feel like this isn't strong enough to be like a landscape or a architectural photo.
So I agree with that. I disagree with the story. Every architectural photograph ever doesn't have a story by that definition. What's a little strange about this and what feels like it's missing something to me is that we have all this light on this building right in the middle, but then everything that's on the left and everything that's on the right, all those buildings in the background are so dark. it does feel like a background plate. It feels like you should shoot somebody in the studio and then composite like a thief in the night on the left side, or like, some comic book character on the right side. I don't know what it would be.
Like Jack the Ripper's walking through the scene.
Exactly, the Headless Horseman, something like that. But,
yeah, now that you mention it, it seems weird that the two lamps closest to the camera are on, but then the whole city in the background looks dark.
Right. I
don't know why that is. I mean, I guess it naturally could be like that, but it almost feels like they just didn't take the exposure for the background.
I mean, there's a lot of funny business going on in this. Like, I'm assuming that this photographer flash popped this building, and I'm wondering if potential, I was going to say maybe this is some sort of architectural shot, and, this is the building that they're trying to feature, so they don't want to light up the other buildings. That would make a little bit more sense. But
it'd be nice if there was some light maybe creeping around the facade that's facing us, like that little light on the left kind of was, even if it wasn't, you lit it in a way to where...
You see this number 9 over here on the left that's just kind of like hovering in the middle of nowhere? It's kind of strange.
I think it would do that, though, if it was a white sign.
No, I know. I'm just saying I want more detail on that wall back there.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, community, they're digging it. 3.52. What's going on here? How is this so highly rated, but the body bag shots at 2.9?
I think it's because our community's teaming together to give out 5s.
Is that what's going on? You were telling me that there's some mutiny going on.
Something's happening
within the community.
Yeah.
No matter what we do, people are going to complain about everything, right? It's like, if I probably rated the first 3 images 4, and people are going to be like, Lee's too easy. Lee doesn't know what good photography is. And then, I'll rate the next ones 2s, and people will be like, Lee's an asshole. He doesn't know what photography is. And then people are getting their feelings hurt because the community rating is lower than what they would normally get if they just published the image onto the community.
The community rating is lower.
Yeah, and the thing is that people are saying that, well, people are trying to win the tutorials, so they're rating their competition lower. And I'm sure some of that's happening. I'm sure the other thing that's happening is people are looking at these images with a more critical eye.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you post a picture on your personal page on Fstoppers, you got to kind of be a douche to like go to that person's page and just downvote, rank everything low.
I'm sure that happens too.
I'm sure it does, but with the critiques, like people are coming in with that critical eye, and so people are getting ranked lower, and so this time people are like...
And I think this only happened once we started giving away free tutorials. Years ago, when this was just a critique, and there was really no rating quite associated with it,
So now people are like, we're going to rate everything 5 stars. So, I think it all works out. I think the highest rated images are the best.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the highest rated is always my favorite, but it's always the cream of the crop. So I think everything's working fine. Let's move on. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. 3 stars.
I can tell you exactly why this isn't a 4 for me.
I see this as potentially a 5, but there's some huge, small things that I see that drive me crazy. So you go first.
I think the only thing that drives me crazy.
Only?
Yeah, maybe the only thing. Maybe when you tell me yours, I'll be like, maybe. I feel like her eyes and maybe her expression. Her right eye, the left eye in this frame, it makes her look like she's got a lazy eye or something. Like, what is going on with... She's looking too far out of the corner of her eye, and I don't love her expression. If I put my thumb over her face, this has the workings to be a 4 or a 5.
That's what I'm saying.
And she's a pretty girl. It's not that it's the model. It's just like that little moment in time, you haven't directed her to do like the absolute best thing with her face and her eyes.
This shot has such incredible styling going on.
Yep.
I can't imagine.
You don't see those kind of dresses?
No, I don't know where the hell she got clothes like this. And it looks amazing with this background and the way the colors are matching. It's unbelievable. Even her body posed looks pretty good. Maybe I'd like to see, a thumb in the pocket rather than the whole hand in the pocket on camera left.
Yeah, that hand's a little weird, but the way the light cuts through it, I don't go straight to that.
Yeah. But my biggest issue, first of all, like you said, facial expression. This looks like a test shot before they started working.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like this is at all what they wanted to get. And then I I love the light with the,
The
dust,
smoke and stuff, yeah.
but I don't like it cutting across her face like that. And so
That doesn't really bother me. I think what might bother me a little bit is, I'm assuming what they did here was they smoked up the room or something, or used that like mist, and then maybe they're like doing the trick of Antelope Canyon where they throw the particles, and I don't like seeing all the particles in the bottom left.
Oh, I thought I was
smoke.
going to say I do like that.
Really? See, I feel
It
like
feels more real and dusty like a wood mill.
I don't know. I think I like the side on the right a little bit better.
Well, the other thing that I was going to say is the side on the right with all the light over there, is it too much? Is it overdoing it? Should they tone that down just a little bit?
I guess it just depends if it's done in camera. If it's done in camera and that's natural, maybe you shoot on a tripod and you have an exposure without the dust and you could blend it back in. But if that's natural dust and light rays, how are you going to tone that down?
Exposure, I don't know. But it just feels a little bright to me, and then just engulfing her and all that white on the left and right and have it kind of eating into both sides of her body. I see so much potential here, but I got to give it a 3.
I also would, I mean, if you're going to go this route where you've they probably hired a stylist and like you're going for a portfolio image, smoke up the back of the room and do a little bit of the dust, just enough to where it feels like maybe this was occurring throughout the entire warehouse. I like the contrast, but I just feel like if you're going to go all that route and take, put that much energy and time into this image, just get enough to where you could paint in.
Well, that's
something.
a good point. I mean, if you look at the floor to the left side, you can see all those spots of sunlight naturally coming in. And if you just had a little bit of dust back there, you could probably get those sunbeams back there too, and it might look a little bit more consistent.
And I want to be clear, when I'm critiquing this and saying you should add more dust in the back, I'm saying how do you take this 3 and make it a 5?
Yeah.
Like, these are the little tiny things. Like, this is good enough to be in your portfolio, but if you want an image where you're like, whoa, that's world class, I think those would be the little things. And it would be something I would probably overlook.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I would have thought to do that, but looking at this image now, and you know what you could probably do is just get an overlay of some dust and just kind of blend something in there, and maybe you could do it post-fact, and you don't have to.
Right. Community 3.24. Here's another one. I feel like it's just suffering from the model's expression. Like, what the hell's going on here? This looks like such an incredibly planned shoot, and then what is she doing? It looks like she's a robot who's fallen asleep. Like, the book's not even right in her hand.
Yeah, that's strange.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. 3 stars. I mean, I want to give this 5. I don't understand. It's like these are test shots.
I'm trying to figure out, like, would you crop more of the rug out? There's something about
It feels bottom heavy to me. I agree. I would change the composition, but like, how much work and styling went into the shot, and then it's like, oh, we'll get the model with her eyes closed and the book all messed up. I don't get it.
Does the light, I keep looking at the lighting, and it just seems like there's a lot of fill, but then hard lights, but then backlight, but the backlight doesn't really register. I don't know, there's something, I'm trying to figure out if I like so much backlight in this frame, or if you should drop in a shot of Manhattan or something back there, or, this has this like Madman feel to it,
Yeah, it definitely does. I personally would like to see a little bit of detail back there. But it doesn't need to be a city or anything. It could just be the shears, like are behind me right now, where you can, a little bit of blown out area, but you can just tell that there's some white fabric back there. I think that would make it better. That would actually be a super easy Photoshop to add that in. But again, I swear this photographer has a better shot than this. They did so much work. They've done more work styling this photo than I've ever done on a photo before. And then they get one where the model is like not even looking at the camera and she looks sad and the book's messed up. So just grab any other shot.
Is it supposed to be that she's like listening to the radio and she's hearing something about, like, this goes back to the story, she's hearing something about the war and she's supposed to be in a somber mood? Like,
it does feel like that.
But that's not what you read when you
But if
see
that's
this
the
photo.
case, like, okay, like you're selling me a little bit more, but let's fix the book and have the page not sticking up like that.
I mean, the page should be fixed. I feel like that's an easy, I don't know if it's easy
That's
because
not
of
easy.
the pattern
I
with
wouldn't
her
know how to
shirt.
do that. But now maybe with Photoshop, with all its smart crap, you just paint it and Photoshop rebuilds the dress.
But
Who knows?
the little book is a minor detail. I think it's something else that's not quite resonating.
All right, let's move on. Community 3.24. What's going on with this? I've seen a lot of pictures with these glowing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I recently watched a tutorial on this, so I know exactly how it's done. But I don't know why this is a trend. Like, I don't know.
This is not a natural phenomenon.
No.
No. Like none of them are glowing.
There's not mushrooms that glow.
Okay, I just see a lot of people with pictures like this, so I don't know.
It's a trend that is really popular.
That's weird. Okay.
Like, mushrooms are really in. I don't know why, but.
Alrighty. Are you ready?
I am.
3, 2, 1. Really?
2?
I
just like it.
Okay, so I like the concept and everything. I just feel like this is an ultra low quality image, and maybe it's this file on my iPad and everything, but it almost looks just like everything's out of focus, and I've got no detail in the shadows along the bottom and stuff. It just kind of feels like it was almost like a cell phone photo, and then they've added some of this glow that looks good, but it just seems super low res to me.
I mean, I see what you're saying.
Composition's a little weird too. Feels a little high. I feel like I want the camera to be tilted up just a little bit.
Yeah, I just watched a tutorial on this. It just popped up in my YouTube feed. And in that composition, I think it was a vertical shot, and they had more depth in the background, and they had some light coming through, and it was a better picture. I don't know if it's the same photographer. But I just don't understand, I don't understand this creative art like this where there's, hundreds of photographers doing the same thing. Like, if you're the one guy who did this, awesome. Like, you created a phenomenon. But if you're another photographer who's doing the same little LED light painting composite work with macro shots of mushrooms, it just feels strange. Is
that how they're doing it? Like, they're putting little flashlights under there?
Yeah, so it's like a camera on a tripod, and then they light up the LED, and then they paint it back in, and then they light over it, so they get the soft blue light, and then they paint that in, and it's cool. Like, I like how they do it, but I just don't understand something this specific. If you take 85 millimeter 1.2 portraits of girls with this color toning, it's a little more generic, but a lot of photographers are doing it. But when you dive down as deep as lit up mushrooms, it just feels like, do you want a portfolio of stuff that this is kind of like Mike Kelly's argument of why are photographers going to the exact same landscape location and everyone has the same picture? It might work here and there. I think I just put one of those images on my website. I'm about to release my new website in a few days.
Poser.
I could take it off. I don't even really need it in there.
It's too late.
But
you've done it. Well, community likes it more than me. 3.02 stars.
It's a solid image. I think it belongs in your portfolio.
I've just seen other glowing mushroom shots that have been way better than that one.
I agree.
But interesting idea. Now, this is an interesting looking shot. This appears to be strobe light. Do you think this is strobe light?
No, I would say this is just natural hard light. What
Really?
makes you think it's strobed?
Something about it feels stroby. I don't know.
Single hard light? The sun?
I don't know. It feels more contrasty than the sun to me.
That could just be like in post they've bumped the contrast up or crushed the blacks.
Yeah, I can't put my finger on why it doesn't feel natural to me. I like it though. It's
Is
cool.
it moody to you? Was the Madman photo moody to you?
Who knows? You picked all these, so that's up to you if they're moody or not. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. I'm going 4.
I really like this. This seems like something I would love to shoot. Like, I enjoy these type of images.
Really? Because the last time you got in the ocean, you're like, these waves.
That's the problem. I hate the ocean. I hate the ocean splashing. I think the biggest part is I just wear contacts, and when salt water is getting in my face, and I'm always worried my contacts are going to pop out, it's like, it really bums you out.
Oh, sorry, bro.
The thing that keeps this for me from being a 4 is I just wish the light snuck around him a little bit more. Or maybe he was giving more of an expression like he was going to land this trick. It's a cool photo, and I like that he's got an emotion in there. It could be worse, don't get me wrong. I just wish that, like...
Could be worse.
I mean, he could be, like, no emotion, or his face is totally black.
Sure. It could be a horrible photograph. You're absolutely right.
But I think for your portfolio, this definitely belongs in there, and a series of images like this. I mean, I have a lot of images like this with kiteboarding and with wakeboarding. I mean, there's similar styles, you know.
What the hell? Community 2.21?
Yeah, I don't know about
That
that.
seems strange to me. Like, I agree this composition's weird. It feels a little strange with all that dead space on the left, but
You got to
it's such
show
a
the
unique
wave, right?
shot. Yeah, then it's important to show the wave. So yeah, I don't get that. Ooh, now this is Moody. Talk about good background plates.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same.
This looks amazing. All right, you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
3 or 4. It depends on the use. As a landscape photo, I think this is a 3. As a back plate that you could then put something in. I mean, I want to give this a 4. Maybe a 3 is more realistic. This feels like what you would see for, like, is it Disney's The Woods, or the Huntsman, or...
I just like the theme parks. I don't know anything about them.
You don't know the actual movies?
No.
Maleficent. It has something to where I feel like you have somebody walking in the background, or...
I know. I would like for you to now photograph someone and composite them into the shot, or team up with some other photographer and composite them into the shot and really make this a world-class image, because as a background plate, this looks amazing. And I'm interested to know how much work has been done on this, or was it, you know, this hazy, foggy look naturally? But
And
what
if
a
it
cool
wasn't,
spot.
I would love to have a tutorial on, like, how they did this. How
There you
did
go.
you make the background all hazy and cool like that? Because we went to Alaska, and I was taking a bunch of pictures like this on our trails.
Mm-hmm.
And I have lots of images that look like this, but when I got them into Photoshop and started playing with it, I was like, it never had the mood that it needed.
Community, ooh, 3.46. They're digging that one.
What was the number 1 rated image? What was that?
3.7 something, I
Okay.
think.
I always like to know where they all fall. Pi and I were talking about in this last video that we just released on the state of the photography industry, about kind of trends and how so many images kind of look the same now. So many images are shot on phones as opposed to using real cameras.
Yeah.
And this was something we talked about. I think this is called Cyberpunk, and it's really popular in Tokyo, where you have like the neon colors, and it's like these landscapes that have just a lot of cool contrasty colors in them.
You sound like a grandpa right now, but continue.
What?
I think they call it the cyberpunk.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
the
It's something.
colors.
It's something punk.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. It's just the way you're explaining it. You sound like you're out of touch.
So this is an awesome use of the cyberpunk genre, and you could tell it's clearly in the old East.
Okay. Are you ready to rate this?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. 2 stars. We agree. Yeah, I don't know if this is really cyberpunk or not. It's got some lights on in the room, I guess, and they're blue. But
I think it's the editing style and the composition.
Yeah, I agree to an extent. By the way, I am super excited to see Elon Musk's truck, the Cyberpunk truck.
Is that what it's called?
That's what he's calling it. That
see,
it will
he's-
be released. this
Grandpa
month.
is releasing.
No, Elon Musk is in touch. He knows what's going on. You don't know what's going on.
It's
You
called the
didn't even know what's-
Cyberpunk truck.
Yeah.
Clearly, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you're missing out. I'm thinking like maybe that's the car I need to buy and ship it down to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
But it might be
How
like-
much is this car?
He says it's going to start at 50 grand. So it's not too crazy.
Kind of like the Model 3 starting at 35 grand.
We have a friend who bought it for $35,000. Dave, our buddy Dave,
Yeah.
actually spent $35,000 on that car. I think we're getting off topic here.
Before we move on from this picture, I just think you need a better subject matter.
I
This
agree.
scene is awesome, but if somebody was like sneaking out the door or going in, or you had style, like a lot of
Story.
these, more story. Instead, I just feel like this is a guy watching TV while waiting on, his customers to pick up their dry cleaning. But even that's a better story.
Can you
than what I'm
imagine if
seeing.
that was a dry cleaner? They can't even keep their windows clean. I feel like there's a lot of potential here too. I wonder, with the gas can on the bottom and like the grates with the jacket and stuff, like is that helping or hurting this composition? Is this slight angle helping or hurting? Would it be better if this was just a straight-on shot?
Well, if it was straight on, you may not see into the store.
That's true, but I don't really care to see that guy anyway. But yeah, I see what you're
I
saying.
think like it just depends. If this is street photography, what can you do? But if you're a photographer looking to create cool portfolio style images, I think you remember this location, or you take the time to go in there and say, hey, I want to take a picture. Can I use my model, or can I get you to like sit outside and smoke a cigarette or something?
Yeah.
As opposed to just snapping this shot that doesn't. If it's street photography, I still don't think it has enough story. It's like just a guy, you don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold your attention long enough.
Community 2.77. Now this is interesting. I liked it, and then I saw the guy, and I think I like it more now.
Oh, you like it more because of the guy. I thought you were going to
so.
say the guy hurt the...
No, I don't. Sometimes yes, but not in this case, I don't think. Although it's kind of weird because the person makes the trees look small, and maybe the trees are small, but
yeah, these look like mangroves or something. Has that vibe. And you can also tell he's like on a beach. It's like the water's just barely there.
Are you ready?
I am.
3, 2, 1. 3 stars. We agree. Solid shot. I feel like it's cool. Could be in your portfolio, depending on what you do for a living. I would imagine this would get replaced relatively soon, just because I feel like, if you're a landscape photographer, this isn't really going to work. You can't sell prints of this. If you're a commercial photographer, I don't know that this is really going to impress commercial clients. It certainly isn't portrait photography.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like a cool, like hobby photographer type thing, which is done really, really well. But it's not blowing my mind.
Yeah, I keep thinking, like, should this be an Eric Almas type photo where everything's lit really well and composited, and it's like an amazing shot of a guy exploring through these mangroves, and, or does it just simply stay as this? I think what bothers me, and I thought at first it was the guy who was blurry, but the more I look at it, it looks like the lamp is casting like a highlight on his head and body. But part of me wonders if I would just make that highlight pure black. Because it's not really revealing any detail, it's just adding a haze.
Yeah.
But small, it makes me feel like this is a long exposure and the guy's not sharp.
Well, I think it is a long exposure. I mean, if you look at the water and you look at the sky, I would imagine this is like a 1 to 2 minute long exposure.
Then the guy is composited in there, or...
I would think so.
It's, that's the only way I could think you could do this.
Community gives it 3.18. Interesting. Really interesting. I never would think that I would like a photograph outside of a Publix. I wonder what this image is for. I mean, it's almost good enough that I feel like it could be some ad for Publix, but then when you look at what's happening, and
I think it's just this guy has a buddy who works at Publix.
That's what
and
I'm
he
wondering.
Has to close, and they were like, let's do a shoot.
If this guy himself is taking a self-portrait, like he's like a high school student or something, and he's taking a self-portrait.
You think he could be the photographer?
I'm wondering. I mean, it seems like a fairly complicated shot with the lighting and stuff to pull it off by yourself, but I don't know. But from a commercial standpoint, I mean, the lighting looks so good. I really like the composition. I feel like the only thing that would make this better, like if this were truly an ad for Publix, I think you'd want some light on the building itself. I mean, I love the exposure they have on the sign, but
Should we rate this before we get too deep?
Yeah, I guess we should. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I guess a 3. I don't know. But the reason why I'm like, I don't know because I don't know what you do with an image like this. It's like, why does this
It's
kid...
so heavily branded that you can't use it for anything other than Publix.
Right.
But when you think of the brand Publix, it's going to be done at a higher level.
Yeah, and Publix isn't going to want some kid looking kind of bored, playing tricks on their equipment. Publix is going to want like the cute young girl that's helping you to the car with groceries. And like this.
I think this kid could fit their model. Like
he could, but I don't think with this vibe he's giving. Like he looks like a good model for this type of shoot. I just don't think Publix would want him. They'd be like, corporate can't have him doing that. That's a dangerous thing he's doing right now, and
Yes,
he'll sue us.
yes.
I
mean, I imagine a Publix image would be very bright and airy, and it would be a lot of customer service. This could have that. It's like the guy. We take so much pride that we're always out cleaning out the carts and getting them back. I would like to see more detail in the building. And then I keep thinking, would I rather the right side of the frame be dark like the left, or should you have more light so that the left side of the frame matches the right? Because you have it's trash can and ATM over here.
Yeah.
And then maybe that brings the balance over to his side of the frame, but part of me thinks I want all of the frame to be brighter.
Community 2.81.
When you see this picture and you were in college, would you want to be in this guy's class, or would you dread being in this guy's class?
I would dread it because I'm pretty dumb, and I don't do math well anyway, and then this guy looks really smart, and so I'd steer clear.
Yeah. He looks like the type of guy who he would lecture. Did you ever have this in college? I had this one professor, and it was New Testament, and he lectured the whole hour and never looked at the class, never acknowledged us. And he would it was like his inner thoughts were just rambling on, and we would all sit there and be like, we're so lost. What is this guy talking about?
And then everyone fails the test,
Yes.
and then he has to do the curve and everything.
Yeah, and this guy
just a horrible
This guy
teacher.
reminds me of that professor, because I was just like, oh man, this guy's so smart. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. 3 stars. All right, so much potential here. Loving this look of this dude. Love the chalkboard with that wood below it. A lot of times people try to take. I've tried to take pictures of people in front of chalkboards and dry erase boards and stuff, and it looks crappy, especially the dry erase boards.
That's just your photography.
Maybe. But this, you got the wood wainscoting stuff down there that makes it feel like a high-end school.
We're at Harvard now instead of just
it feels good.
Lee's McRae.
And then, it's it's a match between, his coat and the wood back there. It just feels high-end, so I like it. I also like the fact that they've kind of fit him into all that writing on the board in the back.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I don't love the crop on his body and his pose on his body. It feels too tight. It feels uncomfortable to me.
I don't know that bothers me at all.
Really?
Because I could just imagine the back of him could be really frumpy, or there's nothing of interest back there. I mean, what would you do? You'd extend it and have more equations or something?
I think I'd have him leaning a little bit, get him more upright, and then have him leaning on that front leg just a little bit to put a little pressure so he's leaning forward, and then maybe turn his shoulders towards the camera just the littlest bit. I mean, I'm talking about really, really small stuff. And then let the image breathe just a little bit. It just feels so tight over there, the way it's cropping just the edge of his back. I don't know. I don't like it.
I don't think any of that bothers me.
Really?
The more I look at this, the more I like it. And I like his expression because it's interesting. Mm-hmm. But I keep wondering if I want him to give me that expression of a little smirk, like he knows something you don't, or he figured it out, or...
Does his face look a little overexposed to you?
I mean, it's more exposed than anything else in the frame, but I don't think it bothers me.
Well, we were just talking about this. Patrick's always overexposing my camera right here on me.
I think your face is just super glossy.
That's fine. So change the exposure and get the gloss off. So I just feel like it's a little hot.
You want his face more like his hands? Like maybe that's a two-stop difference there. Maybe you'd say in between the two, but
not the same as the hands, but just a little lower.
I don't know.
Or bring up the background a little bit.
I like that you read his face instantly, and that's always the point of interest.
Maybe I'm being too harsh, but we both rated it a 3, so it's about the same. Community gives it 3.31.
They like it more than us, and I can respect that. This does it for you. What is this, pottery?
Yeah, so definitely.
It's
a shot about pottery.
Your wife does pottery, right?
Let's not bring her into this. All
No.
right. This is, the subreddit Accidental Renaissance, where they'll get these pictures that look like paintings, and most of them are kind of snapshot type things. But I mean, this certainly looks like some Renaissance painting.
This was probably more intentionally done that way.
I would imagine. Are you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
4?
I'm going 4. I'm going 4. I mean, talk about mood here.
This has the mood.
I don't care about the story. Talk about mood. I mean, the background and just the amount of lighting and detail that's on everything is like just enough for you to be able to look around and kind of notice that there's stuff going on, but you know, she's significantly brighter.
Attention to anything.
Right. I mean, it really does look like a painting.
You know what kills it for me?
The tattoo.
The tattoo.
I didn't even think about that until
I
you
would
just said
clone that tattoo out. If I could make out what the stuff in the background was, and it wasn't the old rustic desk, but it was more modern and clean, maybe I'd like it more.
The tattoo.
Yeah. But I feel like this feels like it's from the, you know, I can't even tell you a date, 1400s or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, the tattoo, like, just remove the tattoo, and it definitely fits in that time period. But with the tattoo there, it just jumps out. That, and maybe this is really silly too, but the little thing on her underwear.
Yeah.
I'm like, just get rid of the thing on her underwear, because I just see that and I think Victoria's Secret or something.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing. I would put this as a 4 without the tattoo, and I know everyone online is going to be like, what in the world's wrong with you? But
they say that no matter what. Community 3.58, so this is one of the higher rated images.
I wonder if there's a series of like real Renaissance paintings where they've like then added tattoos and earbuds and...
I'm sure somebody's done that. Alrighty, next up. Are you ready?
I think so.
3, 2, 1.
You give this a 2? I really like this.
Really?
I do.
I thought about giving this a 1.
A 1? Look at the detail.
Are we looking at the same thing?
Yeah, look at the detail and the...
What's the detail? I don't see
the flamingo. The lighting and the one in the middle. I mean, I think the lighting on all of them is really nice.
Really?
It's like studio lighting, right? It's like overhead soft window lighting. Are they outside? Are they like...
I mean, it appears that they're in some sort of something with a skylight, and there's a beam of light coming. That's what it appears is going on. I don't know exactly, but I would never in a million years call this studio lighting. I agree that they're bright and the background's black, but like nothing about this looks professionally lit at all. Nothing about this looks professionally staged.
There's a lot of classic imagery where they put a huge softbox up and over and behind, and it casts these like soft shadows. And
I just don't think that's what's happening here.
What do you think's happening here?
I'm just saying the lighting does not look purposefully placed anywhere. It just looks like a snapshot to me. I mean, maybe I'm crazy. Let's see what the community says.
I just don't know how you could say
crazy.
You could say it's a snapshot because the animals aren't posed perfectly, or maybe like the main character here, I feel like his head's getting lost in the flamingo in the back, so I'd want to move the camera to the left a little bit. I can see where you say it's a snapshot because everyone's not in place.
Yeah.
But from a lighting standpoint, I think this lighting is almost as beautiful as the one previous. The one previous.
Oh my gosh! What?
The previous shot has so much. It has so much post-production done to where it looks like a painting.
Oh.
But the base image of this has similar lighting that's like Renaissance style lighting.
You, sir, have offended me.
Oh my gosh!
You have offended me. Listen, the last shot's a friggin' masterpiece. This shot
has lighting that is acceptable.
No, it's unacceptable.
Dude,
it's so contrast you can't even tell what's going on. The only flamingo that looks good in this entire picture is the bottom left flamingo. Look at his face. He's like a gangster down there in the bottom left.
You like the bottom left?
He's the only one that looks good. That looks good. This one, the one with the feathers sticking up,
looks awesome.
Just that, but like I can't see his head, and it's all junked up with other ones. And then to the right of him, there's another one in the background. It's like I can't tell what's going on. It's just a jumble of mess. And then it's just pure black. I talked about with the last shot, like, oh, look at how they mastered the shadows, and you can see just enough detail to capture your interest. This is just black everywhere.
I see what you're saying. My eye keeps going to this thing on the right. It's like a little
Mistake.
vine. It's like a vine. And then I keep wondering if, I mean, I'm critiquing this as if, how do I push this to a 4? Could I remove the greenery at the bottom? You're looking at it like, how dare this even be in your
Throw this out.
I think this
Get it out of my sight.
I think this is a beautiful picture in some way.
Well, the community agrees with you more than me. 2.87.
Hell yeah, they know what's up. Speaking of moody animals, whose face looks perfectly lit in this one?
I mean, this is way better than the last one. I don't know what you're talking about. Although, I want a little bit of focus stacking going on here.
This is hard to tell, like, what the resolution is on this. I would hope this is shot at like f8 or f16 and everything's sharp, but...
What are you talking about? I'm looking at this sheep butt right here in the bottom left, and it's blurry. All right, are you ready?
Yeah, it's hard for me to tell without seeing a super high-res image. Maybe I would like the shallow depth of field if the sheep, 3 or 4 sheep in, are sharp enough.
Okay. Whatever that means. 3, 2, 1.
4.
Okay, so you like it better than the flamingo shot.
Yeah, I rated it a 4. That's how that works.
All right, just making sure. I love this. I think it's awesome. You know, just to be nitpicky, and you know, I think if this bottom left sheep was sharp and looking at the camera, that would be like incredible. You know. But
like they're all on a voyage, and then there's one looking back at you.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would tell a better story.
Community gives it 3.34. Moving on. You know what Seinfeld episode this reminds me of? They like bring the bread over to the house, and then because I think it's Susan's parents don't put the bread out at dinner, George's parents like take the bread back.
Okay.
And then George, trying to save the relationship, I think with his fiance maybe, he has to get the bread back up into the house.
Because they noticed it was gone?
Yeah, so I think he tells Jerry to go buy the bread. He gets the fishing pole, and he's like up on this high window. And Jerry's like hooking it, and he's reeling up the bread, and then, you know.
They get caught. And it's like, why are you...
I'm like a Seinfeld super fan, so. All right, you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. 3 stars.
Good enough to be in your portfolio. I think it's toned well. It's composite. You know, it's the composition's nice. I still don't quite know what's going on. I don't know what kind of portfolio this is, but I like it.
Yeah, there's certain things about it that just feel a little weird.
Does it feel like the lines aren't straight?
Yeah,
or it's tilting to the left or something?
Something like that.
Like, look at the window in the top left. It's like going in. Maybe that's just the way this building is built, but
that's
man,
weird. And
it's
then
not showcasing the architect very well.
On the right side, is that a flagpole without a flag? I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of
Photoshop
weird.
that out.
It should be. And then the car, the lighting on the car makes it appear that the car is not really there and it was composited. Because see how the car has lighting down the side of the car, and you can see that shadow by that front wheel?
Yeah.
That, the main light that they're trying to pretend is this whole scene, could not hit that car, you know, from that angle. So it just doesn't feel real to me. But it's interesting. Certainly Moody. Community, 3.22. That's a beard right there. That is a beard.
I'm ready when you are.
I'm waiting on you. 3, 2, 1. 4 stars.
Everyone makes fun of the way that we roll our dice, or
We'll roll our dice. Let's
we'll
stick
roll
with
our
that.
dice. So
I mean, it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Once again, another like kind of Renaissance painting style thing. Got lighting with rich shadows, but nothing is totally black. I mean, I'm seeing detail everywhere. I dig it. And then, I mean, what an amazing model. Great styling. Just, you can tell a lot of work went into this, and looks super professional.
what do you think about the light on the flamingos in this one?
Oh, there is flamingos.
There
in
are
that.
flamingos.
You know what? They're lit better.
They're lit better. I don't know what I would even say I would do to make this stronger. Maybe a little bit of the space behind him. I feel like I'm nitpicking. I like the way that he cuts into the frame and like all the attention is on the right side. And then, you know, what is he doing? He's just waiting on a friend. He's just playing with the...
I don't know, Patrick. It's an amazing story, can't you tell?
There is a story of some sort there.
I think he's currently at dinner with his fiance's parents. His parents have just left with the marble rye, and he's like, how can I get this marble rye back in this house to save this relationship?
So he got married that late in life. He's only engaged.
Well, he's had a hard life, but that's the story that I see. Community 3.47.
It's a pretty high one.
So Patrick, we've had a pretty busy
Month.
Yeah, we've been like out. Like I went to Orlando, which I do now. Like like every other month, I'm doing like a
How many
theme
times have you
park
been to
trip.
like Disney?
I've been to Disneyland, Disney World twice, Disneyland Paris once.
Why?
This year.
Why?
Well, it is weird and lame, I agree, but I like theme parks, and for some reason in my older age, I'm starting to like Disney more than I used to. I don't know.
Sounds like you need kids.
Maybe that's it. But after that, we were in Miami. I was kicking ass in jiu-jitsu.
You got a legit second place.
For the first
Unlike the first one, you actually beat somebody and got second place.
I did, and then the next guy like ragdolled me.
Yeah.
He was scary. We were filming with Joey. We come back down here. Pi comes down here for a few weeks. We got Kyle Hart here from Rhino Camera Gear. He gave us the new Rhino Arc 2, which we're currently reviewing. We've got a lot of videos coming out with that. If you guys are interested, check the link in the description below. Like, it's one of the coolest photo products ever. It's so cool.
Photo and video.
Yeah, I mean, it does everything.
It
does everything. I'm going to take it outside soon. Here's a feature, you know, we'll highlight this more but in other videos, but you can put your phone on it.
Yes.
And then it will, your phone in the app will map your face. So it'll lock onto your face. And as you move around the frame, the Arc 2 will follow you. And so I want to go outside with the Sony A7 III that we have.
Because it's got the best facial autofocus.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot at 2.8, 70 millimeters. The iPhone keeps the Arc panning around, like following up and down and right and left, following you as you move around. And then the Sony has incredible autofocus.
Will keep you in focus.
Will keep me in focus. So I want to do a shot where, you know, I'm talking to the camera, walking around, and it.
You could do like a TED Talk with one camera, and it will follow you around the stage and stay focused. And
this is one of the smallest features of this product. You know, they're just like, just throw this extra feature in there. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, have you been enjoying like all the stuff we've been having going on? Do you like having a full house, or does it drive you guys crazy?
I like it, especially when we have other creative people here, because then we can create more content that makes sense. When we just have our friends and family come, it's like everything shuts down and we just explore the island.
That's true.
But when we're able to explore the island and have shoot-offs and create content for other people and like help, you know, we help Rhino build stuff for their new promotion and everything. Like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I've been having a really good time with that. You know, sometimes it feels like we're out in the middle of nowhere here in Puerto Rico. But we live in a place that so many people want to come and visit and see.
Yeah.
That you know, it's actually easier now to get people to come visit here than Charleston. I don't think Pi ever came to visit us in Charleston.
No, and he's come twice now.
And he's come twice already to Puerto Rico. Yeah, so it's cool to live in a spot like this. Now, talk about a story.
This has a story.
This has the most story of all photos in the critique, for sure.
Because of that, this deserves a 6.
Man, remember that time Pi was here and we competed and I destroyed you guys? Just like I said.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding
I'm back
me?
in it, baby. I'm back in it. All right, let's get back to business.
Okay, I'm ready to rate this.
3, 2, 1. What?
Actually, I think I meant to throw a 4. You got me so distracted with the head on head. This is a 4. This is a 4.
Okay. I mean, I thought about giving this a 5. This is crazy. This looks like some movie, No Country for Old Men or something.
There's a few little things that keep me from making, like, prevent me from making this a 5.
Mm-hmm. Like what?
The first thing is the light in the background. I feel like this is supposed to be they've stopped everything and they see a car coming and they're
I
in
didn't even
trouble.
notice that until right now.
Because you don't care about the story. I think this would be better, and I don't know this landscape, but if the car was way out in the distance and it was just little headlights, this feels like the car is like coming up from a hill, but yet it doesn't feel like a hill. And I don't know, something about the car in the background just seems strange to me. It's like this glowing orb. And I think it would be better, even if you remove that. This is a massive composite, right? There's like tons of stuff going on here. Remove the light altogether and then just composite 2 headlights much further away in the background. It's almost like they have a few minutes because the car is about to be on them and they're all just standing there. Like the guy with the shovel doesn't look like he's doing any work. He doesn't look like he's concerned at all that someone's coming up on him. Yep. And it feels like the timing, this is like really deep into this. The timing feels really off. Like, this guy should be working and digging, and like she should be concerned, oh my gosh, someone's about to catch us. I just feel like everyone's posed as if like we don't care at all about what's about to happen.
But maybe the story is...
This is their buddy coming to help them?
Yep. This is the kingpin who paid to have the guy killed. And he's coming to make sure the job is done.
Also, like, why is the car off the road? It's like... I don't know if that's a big part of this, but just... And then I also feel like, is there a little haloing behind the guy that's on the hood? I keep seeing, like, my eye keeps going to, like, this little brush stroke. I feel like it should be darker behind him, maybe.
All right, I think you're being a douche right now. This photograph's pretty awesome. I mean, we both gave it 4.
Yeah, it's a great photograph. I'm just trying to think, like, what prevents it from... I think I just want this guy with the shovel to be, like, actively digging or doing something. The fact that he's just standing there like a farmer waiting to greet you, waiting to greet the guys coming up just feels weird to me.
All right. Well, community rated this 3.62. This might be the second highest rated shot. And it's super cool. All right, final shot. And I just realized that we have forgotten to give away a free tutorial to one random winner. So let's give it to this guy.
That's fair enough.
Okay. Congratulations. You want another tutorial from fstoppers.com/store. Patrick, are you ready?
I am ready.
3, 2, 1.
Oh my gosh, 2?
Really?
I really
3?
like this.
You really like this?
I was thinking of giving it a 4.
Now you've gone too far, sir. I mean, I feel like there's potential here, but one thing I want to see is just better post-processing or something more unique. Like, this just kind of feels straight out of camera to me.
Really? This feels like this has like an old film look to it or something.
And then the other thing,
this seems like it belongs in a portfolio from like the 70s or 80s, and I think it looks kind of cool.
I agree, when photography was pretty bad back then.
I mean, it feels like a film look or something. I love his motion and expression, and like, it's very painterly. Like, this looks like, you know, Jesus pointing down at, you know.
Oh, his poses.
Yeah, it just...
Okay, yeah, he's
like Adam, whatever that painting is. Like, it has like this cool vibe to it that I think it's sloppy and it's natural light and it's not polished, it's not refined, but I think all of those things are what make me like it. But then again, I liked a rooftop with rusty, weird walls, and nobody else liked that either. So what do I know anymore?
Not much, but what do you think of the composition? I do not like the composition. Look at this composition. Better?
Yeah, I like that too. You've completely removed the left hole in the wall, but maybe it doesn't need that. I think all of the attention is this guy, and maybe they've given too much space in this frame. I like it. I like this image.
Well, cool community agrees with me.
2.4.
2.4. That wraps up this Critique the Community, guys. If you'd like to be a part of the next one, what are we doing again?
Long exposures.
Long exposures. Get those dark neutral density filters out, pop them on, shoot a multi-minute, multi-hour long exposure.
I'd like to see some stuff like the tennis shoot that I did, where it's not. I imagine it's gonna be so many landscapes. I want to see some stuff that's
like portraits with light.
Portraits, and I don't want the burning steel wool, but something, some creative use of long exposure,
Okay.
And maybe it could be a guy like this, and he's jumping and blurred. I don't know, or like Pi. They always put the couple in there and do the long exposure with the traffic. Something creative. Like I know we're gonna see a lot of landscapes.
Something creative. Go to the link in the description. Do it now. We'll see you next time.